it can be quite doable. You just need to make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's. So quality assurance often includes your sampling, test or retention. So if your project is delivering an item, a good, rather than a service, then quite often you'll do these, you'll produce these first one, the second one, the 10th one, whatever it might be. You might take it off the production shelf or whatever it's made and put it to one side and leave it as a testing point. Or you might try and squash it, or you might try and extend it, or you might try and do something which tests the integrity of that product. And you might have to do that every 20 products or whatever as it might be that what you're doing. Obviously, if you have something to do with the health organizer, with food, whether it's you're putting in a kitchen or whether you're putting in a cafe or you're producing a food type product, then obviously there's a lot of things around that has to be, you've got HACCP, you've got the food quality requirements, you've got all of those things which are going to affect what goes into your quality plan. So we need predefined benchmarks and checkpoints. If you don't have them, you would need to make sure that you set them and that they were signed off by the relevant stakeholders, usually the sponsor or whoever it might be that has that authority. Evidence is a really important part of it, and evidence is usually down to records. Or photographs. Multimedia can be a really important part of evidence now. So if you find something that's wrong, now for example I was doing this within logistics and I put in these registers into place where whenever they had a delivery where a truck arrived or a trailer arrived and there was damaged product because it hadn't been stacked properly or stored properly, or they hadn't put cardboard or whatever reinforcing between the packaging and the side of the truck and it moved or whatever, then they had to fill in this register with certain information, take digital photographs and put it in that, and then send that one page out as a report to certain stakeholders. And within a very short period of time, the incidence of that occurring reduced dramatically, because what you're doing is you're showing the issue, you're telling them what the cause of it was, and then they're able to prevent it. So it's a worthwhile exercise if you can. Obviously the sponsor in this is really important. You need to make sure that the project sponsor has the sign off and they make sure that they are happy with what your quality plan has. And quite often you'll have to have technical performance measures depending on the type of project that you're running. If you don't have the expertise yourself but you need to, you might have to get engineers in, you might have to get designers in, you might have to get interior design, whatever it may be that you have to have done at the end of the day. You might have to get a food quality safety guru to come in and make sure that the design that somebody's done for the kitchen actually adheres to electrical requirements, food safety requirements, it's got the right floor covering, it's got this, it's got that, so therefore they get the tick off and they get the sign off and off you go. So then you get the work done. And obviously you need to make sure that quality does not affect other compliance requirements, so OHS, environmental, etc. So you might have the best quality compliant kitchen in the world, but if it's running grease straight out into the mains water, then obviously it's not going to be a very effective kitchen. Might be efficient but not effective, or the other way around. So your quality often includes audits. Now, if your company has a good attitude towards quality, it's an integral part of what you do on a day-to-day basis, so that you have somebody having an eye out all the time. If you see something that comes across your desk that doesn't comply with what your quality plan is, that you can do something about it without somebody feeling like you're poking them in the eye, so that you make sure that everyone in the company has the right attitude and has the opportunity to improve, not just certain people. So all your project team should be empowered to be able to raise the flag when they see something that's not right and not feel as though they're going to get caned for it. So audits can be internal or external auditors, whatever. They can be scheduled or they can be spontaneous. Usually external auditors are scheduled. Corrective actions. So corrective actions are your opportunity to improve something. So if something is outside the spec of your quality plan, then you need to make sure that you correct whatever process it is to make sure that next time it will be in spec. So normally when you're writing a quality plan, as I say, you would have a risk management plan, an issue register, a cost, work breakdown, structure, scopes, etc. So would you expect that to go in a circle? It doesn't, because it actually goes like that. So one thing, which comes first, the chicken or the egg, you will have to go back. When you're writing your quality plan, you'll be doing it in conjunction with all these other documents, and they will all affect one another. So once you've got a good set of them, you'll probably go back and return to them, because it's easier to change something that's already there rather than write them from scratch. Process improvement in PMBOK is actually extra to the quality management plan. Now, I don't think it necessarily should be, but it's something which you should acknowledge as part of your quality management plan anyway. So it's a process of analysing the project or deliverable process for ongoing updates, making sure that it's correct, etc. Sometimes the process improvement is included as part of the finalisation phase when you go through the lessons learnt. But it's something that should be done throughout the whole the corrective actions we were talking about should actually have the opportunity for process improvement in that as well. Records management, there is absolutely no point to doing a damn thing if you can't find it in the future. You know, you can do all the most perfect stuff in the world, but if you ever end up having to prove it and you can't prove it, then there is no point in you having done it properly in the first place, or improperly. So make sure that when you're actually going through your project that you have your checklist, you have whatever it is that you're going to do, but do it so that you don't create documents for the sheer sake of it, but make sure that what you create is done with a purpose and it's kept, and so that it's actually evidenced and able to be found in the future. So if you go from one project to the other in your organisation, you should be able to find exactly what you need. You don't have to depend on somebody else's manner of thinking so that you can go and find, oh, where do they put this or where do they put that. Every project in your organisation should be run in the same manner or the same structure, and know where all the project administration documents are, where all your decision records are, where all your corrective actions are, where your quality schedule is, etc., etc. So in summary, plan, do, check, review, or plan, perform QA, perform quality control, which is a lot more words. Define the benefits. Make sure that your cost, quality, reputation balance is appropriate. So you want to make sure that you have got your costs identified for the quality plan, and make sure that's included within your budget. And make sure you follow it, you find it, you fix it, you find it, keep the facts, you file it so you can find it in the future.